The millionaire, Daniel Hartman, was not supposed to be home that evening. His business trip had been scheduled for 3 more days, and his mansion usually followed a strict routine in his absence. But a sudden feeling, heavy and restless, pulled him back early, without explanation. Daniel had always believed he was providing everything his children needed: the best schools, the safest home, the most expensive toys. Yet lately, something felt missing. His 2 young children, Emma and Lucas, had grown quiet, their laughter fading like a distant echo. When Daniel entered the house, he didn't announce himself. The mansion was unusually silent, no television noise, no footsteps of staff. He loosened his tie and followed faint sounds coming from the living room, soft humming mixed with gentle laughter. As he reached the doorway, he stopped cold. There, on the carpet, sat Maria, the maid he had hired years ago. She was surrounded by his children, who were sitting close to her, their eyes glowing with warmth and attention. Maria was reading a story aloud, but not from a book. She spoke with emotion, her voice rising and falling like a lullaby. Emma leaned against her shoulder, while Lucas held Maria's hand tightly, as if afraid to let go. Daniel felt his chest tighten. He had never seen his children look so calm, so safe. Toys lay forgotten nearby. No screens, no distractions, just presence, love, and connection. Something money had never managed to buy. Maria paused when she noticed Daniel standing there. Her face turned pale, fear flashing in her eyes. She quickly tried to stand, apologizing, explaining that the children had asked her to stay and tell them stories before bed. But Daniel raised a hand gently, signaling her to stop. His eyes never left his children. Emma looked up and smiled. "Daddy," she said softly, "Maria makes the sad thoughts go away." That sentence hit Daniel harder than any business failure ever had. He realized then how often he had been absent, even when physically present. Meetings, calls, deadlines had always come first. His children had been growing up beside him, yet without him. Lucas tugged at Maria's sleeve and whispered something into her ear. She nodded and continued the story, her voice trembling slightly. Daniel stayed where he was, listening, tears silently forming. The story wasn't magical or grand. It was about kindness, about being brave when you're lonely, about believing someone will always come back for you. Daniel suddenly understood why his children clung to every word. When the story ended, Maria helped the children stand. They hugged her tightly before heading upstairs, waving goodnight to their father. Daniel watched them disappear, feeling both love and shame intertwine inside him. Once they were gone, Maria turned to leave, assuming she had crossed a boundary. But Daniel spoke, his voice breaking. He thanked her, not as an employer, but as a father who had failed to notice what truly mattered. Maria explained that the children often cried at night. They missed their mother, who had passed away years earlier, and their father, who was always busy. She stayed because no one else did. Daniel sat down slowly, covering his face with his hands. Tears fell freely now. He had built an empire, yet his children had needed something far simpler: time, attention, and warmth. That night, Daniel made a promise to himself. He canceled his next trip, then the next. He rearranged his schedule, left meetings early, and started coming home before sunset. He began reading to Emma and Lucas every night, even when work piled up. He listened. He asked questions. He learned their fears, their dreams, their favorite stories. Slowly, their laughter returned. Maria noticed the change and smiled quietly. Her job became lighter, not because she worked less, but because the children no longer carried loneliness on their small shoulders. One evening, as Daniel tucked his children into bed, Emma looked at him and said, "Daddy, you're here now. That's better than any gift." Daniel kissed her forehead, holding back tears. He finally understood that success was not measured by wealth or power, but by the moments you show up when it matters most. And sometimes it takes seeing love through someone else's hands to learn how to give it yourself. That was the night a millionaire came home early and learned the true meaning of being rich.